All right, we're back. Same day, same fit. So I'm going in on the videos because finals in a week from the date of this posting. So we are clear from the UCC and the restatement of agency and now the restatement of restitution. So now, well, actually, restitution was where we started in our semester one or semester two, not semester two, the second part after midterms. Now we will go into promissory estoppel, and that is a big part of it's a big part of the second part of this semester. And so I gotta find it. Where is it? There it is, 90. Okay. We're gonna start with section 90. Wait a second. We did promissory estoppel. Okay, we're gonna go into statute of frauds. Okay, because we did. Oh my god, I made another video before it. Okay, so statute of frauds. This is part of contracts where I think we kind of think of statute of frauds oftentimes with like big deals. And I'm not even gonna go into like the origins of it. I do think the origins of it do give the understanding of statute of frauds better grounding in my head. Um, but I'm just like not in a place to explain it. So it started in England, I'll tell you that. And this is essentially writing. You need writing for deals. Okay. Not all deals, but certain contracts require writing. And because they require writing, they may follow a different set of rules. Okay. Generally speaking, it is more helpful to have things in writing. And so, even, I don't know, as a practical matter, I think, especially after, learning contracts, man, I just feel like everything should be in writing. But um, now our pathway of how we look at fact patterns is going to change a little bit. Okay. So recall back when we introduced the UCC, we only asked a very simple pathway. We said, does the UCC apply? And how we answer that is we ask ourselves, is it a good? Is it an exchange of goods? Um, and if the answer was yes, great, predominantly goods, then use the UCC when it applies. Okay. If the answer is no, it's predominantly not a good, um, then don't use the UCC. Just turn to the statements, go to the trust and true restatements in common law. Okay. But now with the statute of frauds, we now have to look at fact patterns and situations a little differently. And so now um, when you see situations, we now have to go through this branch of thinking where, I mean, in the kind of the list of things, you need to ask yourself, does it fall under, is it within the statute of frauds first? And so when you ask that, it can be within the statute of frauds with 6 different ways. Okay. One is through the UCC itself, actually. So if it's a good, remember, if it's a good and the two elements here over $500, not exactly, right? Over, then it applies, you run the statute of frauds analysis, okay? In which we're going to talk about. The other way to go through the statute of frauds analysis is on defined classes of contracts which the restatements explicitly say falls under the statute of frauds, and that is under restatement 110. Okay. And I'm not going to read all this. I'll just kind of tell you what they are. The classes of contracts are one, it's called the executor administrator provision, but you can kind of think of it as contracts on behalf of the dead. Two is the surety provision, and these are contracts where you pay the debt of another. You can kind of imagine those situations where maybe, you know, you know, heaven forbid, somebody you love dies and they left debt, you may have to assume those debts, assuming you're the next in line. The third one is marriage contracts. Okay. I guess they're technically contracts, huh? Yeah, they are. These we don't really care about that much. Don't forget that they exist. Okay. These last two are the biggest ones that you'll probably see more often than not is you got to run the statute of frauds analysis if it's a sale of land. Okay. And you got to run the statute of frauds analysis when it's contracts that cannot be performed under a year. And so in a year or under. So contracts that can't be performed or like they have to be performed in a year or a day or more, then statute of frauds analysis runs. Okay. That's 110 in a nutshell. And this is me in a nutshell. Help, I'm in a nutshell. Next is when you run the statute of frauds analysis. Okay, so let's say, yes, it fulfills one of these. Okay, then you have to ask, well, if yes, then you have to ask, is there writing? Okay, now, if no, if none of these, if it doesn't fall into this, then it's not enforceable. Maybe. Let me change this. May not be enforceable. Okay, may not be enforceable. It's too strong to say non-enforceable because you might run some other like restatement analysis. Okay. Then turning back to yes. Okay. Does it fall within the statute of frauds? Is there sufficient writing? And so sufficient writing is kind of a question we're going to run into later because sufficient is going to be, we're going to define that. But in short, if yes, you're good, it's enforceable. Okay. If no, if it's insufficient writing, then we can ask ourselves, right? Like, whoa, what doesn't statute of frauds require that there's writing though? And like kind of yes, but sometimes no, right? Just like in every other thing in law, right? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And if there's an exception, and there are exceptions, and we're gonna talk about that, okay? Then the courts will generally decide there are exceptions that run through some of the restatements, and I think some of the UCCs as well. But if no, then it's not enforceable. Like I think that one's straight up. I think I can really just say non enforceable straight up. I think this one may not be enforceable because you can run it, the restatement analysis through this. But here, I think you're just kind of dead in the water at this point, right? Anyway, yeah, that's the analysis, okay, for statute of frauds. And we'll turn to the exceptions and the requirements after this video because I think it feels neat to end this here. Smile for the pause.